All right, so we're going to get started here. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is going to be a great call, and Allie and Lacey are actually coaches under me, so it's kind of fitting that that I get on tonight and introduce them. So they have been coaches for about 2 years, I believe, and they are doing great right now. They're really working well together. And we had them give a call for tonight because they have been working so well together. They've been being great examples of leading their teams as far as doing team calls. They've been mentoring and training and just really doing a great job with their team. So we wanted them to share for tonight. One of the things about Lacey and Allie that we liked is, I don't know exactly how long ago, but I think it was last year they went through some pretty serious challenges, and through it all, they, even though they weren't totally gung-ho about the business, they didn't completely give it up, but they kind of kept a good presence, kept a positive attitude, and really became an example to a lot of people because of it. So not just Beachbody, but just kind of life in general. And so they're two great coaches, and we're going to turn the time over to them so that they can take over the call. If you're jumping on, or if you haven't already, please mute your audio, just because it can kind of be a little distracting for them and for everybody else. So if you can mute your audio, and then we'll give them the time to go at it. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Welcome to tonight's Team Inspire call. I'm Lacey, and
I'm Allie.
And like Tyler said, we are sisters, and even though she lives in Idaho and I live in Nevada, we still do run our business together. We have a like page called Strong Fit Mamas that we absolutely love being able to run and participate in and meet some incredible people. So even though we have consistently run challenge groups for being coaches for 2 years, we didn't really start actively and effectively building the business until about 8 months ago. So we have basically been sitting at Emerald for 2 years. So we are going to talk to you tonight about how to not be an idiot like we've been. And so we wanted to share with you some of the tips, some of the pitfalls that we've found ourselves in, so hopefully you can avoid them or quickly get out of them much quicker than we did. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Allie, and she's going to share with you kind of where we began this building process.
Okay, I am so nervous for some reason. Okay, we are going to scale back to about a year ago after our second summit, and I found myself really struggling to define my why. I was kind of in that crappy, horrible spot. Like, I had this roller coaster belief in myself. One day, I thought, okay, I can do this coaching thing. And then the next day I was like, what the heck was I thinking? I cannot do this. And I kept flip-flopping back and forth with the belief that I had in myself. And so I attribute the roller coaster belief to my lack of purpose as a coach, kind of my lack of having a why. So growing up, my dad always told me to follow my passion. And as long as I contributed in a field or an area where I felt passionate about, then I would be happy. So he asked me all the time, Allie, what are your passions? And I honestly didn't really know. I knew I liked to make people happy. I knew I liked to help people and make people feel important. But what honestly could I do with that for an occupation in a field? I just never knew how to take that direction from my dad. So I found myself sitting in one of the workshops at Summit last year, and I continued to hear story after story of top coaches coming from difficult backgrounds, drug abuse, child abuse, depression, anxiety, and just so much more. And yet here they were standing on stage, successful in their businesses, And most of them attributed their success back to the fact that someone believed in them when they couldn't believe in themselves. And as I watched each coach tell their story with this similar theme, or when I watched each coach tell their story with the similar theme, a memory popped into my mind, and something that's really close to my heart. My dad, at the time, had just passed away less than a year earlier. He fought stage 4 colon cancer for 4 years, and he was extremely positive during the whole thing. He worked at Discover Card up until the week before he died, just so he could guarantee my mom had his life insurance. And so at his viewing, I was standing by his casket. And as people would walk up in the line and give their condolences to my mom, I saw this particular man hobble up to the casket. He had 2 crutches. I believe he had polio as a child. And he just had tears streaming down his face. And he looked at my mom and he said, "I worked with Jay and I didn't even know he was sick." My dad didn't tell a lot of people that he had cancer. And anyways, he looked at my mom, said, "I worked with Jay," and just started bawling. And he looked at my dad and in the casket. Does that sound so morbid? And then he looked back at my mom and with tears, he said, "I am a nobody." And it was very evident that he truly felt that way about himself. But he said, "Every day Jay would walk in and say hi to me. Jay made me feel like a somebody." And as that memory collided with these stories from top coaches, my why really formulated. This is what I wanted. I wanted to be the one to instill that unwavering belief in people. I wanted to believe in people when they couldn't believe in themselves. I wanted to make people feel like a somebody. So I knew that I could do that, and I knew that that's something that I could be good at. But having a why, you need to go one step further than that. You need to define what success looks like for you. So herein lies another pointer. You have to define what success looks like for you, because if you don't, you're constantly working towards something that you don't know what you're working towards, and then you're always disappointed. So if you don't define success, then it will always be unattainable, if that makes sense. Or you could be like how I was, and I was always, to me as a new coach, success was being that unattainable $1 million or million star diamond. That's just depressing as a new coach. And since I didn't have my success defined, that's just always what I reverted back to, and that's just depressing. So when I define success for me now, this is what it looks like. I'm a successful coach when my challengers walk away from my group standing on their own 2 feet, filled with belief and ability, and most importantly, loving themselves. That is the fire that fuels me now. And as I make a plan to accomplish this, why, I whittle it down to the 3 vital behaviors, of course, right? Because that's what we hear from the very beginning. In order for me to believe in people, I need people to believe in, right? I need to invite people. And in order to believe in people, I need to know how to offer that belief in a way that will be effective. Okay, I need to do my personal development so I know how to offer that belief and have it received the way I want it to be. Now, being a product of the product to me means more than just sharing your results. It means sharing your journey. By sharing your journey with people, okay, by me sharing my journey with people, I'm showing them my consistency and developing a level of trust with them. So sharing my flaws and vulnerabilities along the way allows people to feel like they're okay to have those faults and vulnerabilities. And that really establishes a baseline of trust with them as their coach, excuse me. So our first pointer is this: define your why and define what success looks like to you. So you can do this by filling in the blank. I'm a successful coach when, and then fill in your blank.
So like Allie said, when we came home from our second summit, we really had this fire burning. We had the desire to jump in and to really make a difference, to make people feel like somebody's. And we found that the only way to keep that fire burning is through personal development. Now, when I was a new coach, I would do personal development out of sheer obligation. I would, listen to a national wake-up call. I would pull out my scriptures, and I would just mark off my little checkbox of personal development and call it good. And I never really understood why I was doing this personal development. I just knew that I had been told I was supposed to. So one day, my sister-in-law gave me a book called The Slight Edge, and that was a game changer for me. That opened my eyes to the reality that I could. Success wasn't just for the lucky few, or the few people that draw the right number, or the person that's born at the right time in the right place in the right circumstances, but that I could be successful if I was consistent with the little things. And that's when this whole world opened up to me, and I realized that the point of personal development is to educate yourself, is to open up a world-class education on anything that you feel like you are lacking in. So once I realized and I wrapped my brain around the fact that I could, and I found my confidence, I then had this memory, once again, of my dad. He was a pretty awesome guy, obviously. And I remember him telling me shortly before he passed away, Lacey, in order to be successful in this business, you have to be a leader. Now, I didn't really know what to do with that until I realized, once again, personal development with a purpose, and the purpose is defined by me. And so at that time, I decided that I needed to learn what a leader was, how a leader acted, what a leader did, how a leader treated people, how they thought, how they felt, everything that they did. And so I sunk my teeth into podcasts, calls, mentors, books, anything that I could get my hands on about being a leader. And once again, was able to see that this vital behavior is not just a check mark. It's not just something to say that you did. It is truly, there's a point to it, that it's important to have a purpose to your personal development, and that purpose is defined by you. So is that purpose right now you want to learn about network marketing? Maybe it's learning about social media. Maybe it's learning about Shakeology and challenge groups. Maybe it's learning about how to be a leader. Your purpose of personal development will evolve, and it will change over time. But make sure, and I challenge you, that every single time you sit down to do your personal development, to ask yourself, what is my purpose? So that your time is used effectively, so you can fuel that fire that you have in you, and you can continue to learn and to grow and to become better than you were before you started. So that is the one thing that we have learned about personal development, and a pitfall that I found myself in is that I didn't realize that I needed to do personal development with a purpose, and that purpose was defined by me. House?
Okay, guys, this was a big game changer for me in my business. Personal development with a purpose. Don't make personal development a check mark. Don't just listen to a random national wake-up call and call it good. Those are good. Listen to those still. But look at the areas in your business that need developing. So, for example, I was a sporadic and random PDer, personal development-er, okay? I did it occasionally, and it was always pretty random. This still helped me, okay, but it was very, very sporadic, and it wasn't very effective. As soon as I started looking at the weaknesses in my business and finding personal development to improve them, things really started changing. So, for example, I was so scared to invite people to the business opportunity. I could invite people to challenge groups all day. I was fine with that. But inviting people to the business opportunity scared the crap out of me. It just did. So I started doing intentional personal development on recruiting coaches. I looked up national wake-up calls on that topic. I sought out training from top coaches on that topic. Anything that you want training on, just Google it, plus Beachbody, and you'll get tons of YouTube podcasts from top coaches. So I received my bachelor's degree in communication and then went straight to being a stay-at-home mom, which I love, but I have no experience when it comes to network marketing. And why should I? I've never done it before. So I sought out personal development on how to be successful at network marketing. So the second pointer that we want to give to you, something that we failed out for a long time, is that you need to not just do your personal development, but personal development with a purpose, intentional personal development. So our third pointer is to be a leader and not a manager. Okay, so I want to get real with you for a minute. I pretty much hated coaching in the beginning. I hated sacrificing my quiet time during my daughter's nap for a flipping power hour. I mean, I hated it. It's the last thing I wanted to do during my quiet time was a power hour. Okay, I wanted to sit on the couch with Netflix watching an episode of Once Upon a Time and eat my lunch all by myself. So now part of my not liking coaching goes back to not having a why as a coach. So since I didn't have my success defined, I just reverted back to what I thought a successful coach looked like and saw myself fail every day at becoming that unattainable million-star diamond, okay? So another part that contributed to me not liking coaching is that I was very much managing my groups and not leading them. I mean, I was literally copy and pasting from my challenge guide and not even knowing like what I was saying. I'd get to the end of the day and realize I posted about like a water challenge that I didn't even participate in. Guys, if you're leading a group, you're not just copy and pasting. You are doing the challenges you post. So if you issue a water challenge, you're doing the water challenge, okay? If you're requiring meal plans, you're submitting meal plans. If you're wanting them to track their food for a few days, you're tracking your food for a few days. You need to lead by example and not just manage your groups.
And I think along with that, the next crossroad and potential pitfall that we encounter when it comes to leading, not managing, is that of an attitude. It's no secret that we work in a very emotion-filled environment where we are asking people to do things the hardest way possible. Now, we know it's the way that they're going to get results and it's going to be a lifestyle change, but until people can wrap their brain around the fact that failure is not fatal and that they can do hard things, you are more than likely to get some pushback and some feeling of defeat and some disappointment coming from your challengers and your coaches. And since we're in the trenches with them and we are doing the things that they are doing and we are doing hard things too, and we hear this negativity, it can be so easy to allow that to become our elevator music, to start to think and hear ourselves say, oh, it's your fault that they're not getting results. Or if you were a better coach, then they would have more success. Or it's all your fault. What's wrong with you? And it's as we start to allow that negativity to pop in there, that takes us right back to managing and not leading. Because it's the disposition that's more important in a leader than their position. Because people want to follow positivity. People want to see the victory in the challenge. Now, that's not saying that we need to, that it's going to always be rainbows and butterflies and wonderful. It's not. Like, there's hard days. Our challengers and our coaches still need to see that, sometimes our cheat meals turn into cheat weeks. And sometimes we hit snooze 17 times. And sometimes we hear more no's than yeses when we invite to challenge groups. The people that follow us need to hear those things, but they need to hear it not as a victim, but as a victor. They need to see that you have struggled, but yet you've picked up the pieces, you've learned from them, and you've moved forward. And so if we have a negative attitude, then there's not much we can do. In a book that I recently read about developing the leader within, he said, the pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist believes the wind will stop, and the leader switches its sails. And so it's not about having perfect everything all the time, because there are going to be failures along the way. But it's up to us to pick up those pieces, to have that positive attitude, and to share with those people that are following you that they can do it and that they can have a hard time, but they can still move forward. And that is what makes you a leader and not a manager. So we wanted to share with you our last tip, and it's probably the biggest, dumbest thing that we have done thus far. And probably it is the most recent thing that we are continually shaking our heads thinking, what were we thinking? But we wanted to make sure that we really shared this with you so you aren't idiots like we were. Go ahead, Al.
So that's a great intro to this topic. So our last point is to not recreate the wheel. Okay, Lacey and I, like she said, are perfect examples of what not to do when it comes to this. So when we signed up together. We took each other on as success partners and decided to figure out everything on our own. So sure, we followed the 3 vital behaviors, but we didn't access any training on how to do those 3 vital behaviors effectively. So we decided to figure it out on our own, because that's brilliant. We didn't reach out to our upline, which was stupid, especially now that we have coaches. We realize, like, why didn't we take advantage of our upline? Okay, why didn't we reach out to our upline? So not knowing how to do these things effectively and not learning how to do them, we found ourselves getting discouraged a lot. So we would try to come up with new things to do when we hadn't even mastered the basics. So this really, really stunted our growth as coaches in our business. We found ourselves discouraged a lot. So a prime example of this is Coach Basics. We signed some coaches and put them through a Coach Basics. So those coaches ended up not working the business, and we attributed them not working the business and eventual quitting to Coach Basics. We figured, Coach Basics is lame. It's too overwhelming for the coaches. We are not dealing with Coach Basics. We didn't consider the fact that maybe those coaches just weren't quite ready yet. So we decided that Coach Basics was ridiculous. And we went an entire year not utilizing any training for our coaches except for the provided Team Inspire sign-up training. So fast forward to Summit, and we continued to hear all of these top coaches talk about Coach Basics. And at first, since Lacey and I know it all, we rolled our eyes and said, dude, they are seriously still talking about Coach Basics? Like, what are they thinking? No bueno, not a good idea. So by the time we left Summit, we had heard about Coach Basics enough that we realized, maybe there is something to this. Not utilizing the wheel that's already been created by Beachbody really set us back for a long time. So I'm always preaching that your coaching journey is just like your fitness journey. This is so applicable in this particular situation. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't know how to put together a fitness program that will effectively give me the results that I'm looking for. And I didn't even realize how far my nutrition was off until I went through the 21-day fix. So in order for me to see the physical results I want to see, I need to follow a program designed by people who know what they're doing. So by professionals. It's the same with coaching, you guys. If you want to see results in this business, you need to follow a program that's designed by people that know what they're doing. Okay, not by the idiots in the crowd that say, dude, what are they doing? Like, they're so stupid. Okay, they're millionaires up there, and we're like making $20 a week. So then, anyway, I digress. So we have so much training that's offered in your back office. If you're an Emerald, there's training there for how to advance from Emerald. If you're a Diamond, there's specific training for you to advance from there. There are trainings in your back office for social media, for finding customers, for advancing rank, goal setting, onboarding coaches, Shakeology, so much. So utilize the training that's given to you. That doesn't mean that you can't put your own personal spin on it. For sure do that. But don't try to recreate the wheel. So our last pointer for today is to not be an idiot like us. So don't recreate the wheel, for sure.
So you guys, we all are going to have our own unique coaching journeys. These journeys are going to be full of ups and downs, goods and bads, successes and failures. They're all going to be our own unique journey. However, there is going to be one thing that it remains consistent in every single one of our journeys, and that is why we decided to be a coach. And that was, we wanted to make a difference. Whether that was make a difference in the fitness and health of other people, whether it was to make a difference in your family's financial situation, whether it was to make a difference in the lives of people and help them see that they are capable of hard things, no matter what your reason for doing it is, it all remains the same. You wanted to make a difference. And the thing that follows that's so amazing as we focus on making a difference in other people's lives, the thing that happens is that we change. We become stronger. We become better. We become more than what we were when we started. And because I can tell you 100% from personal experience that Allie and I are not the same two people that we were 2 years ago. So no matter what your journey is, whether it means that you're a diamond in 5 days or that you sit at Emerald for 2 years, it doesn't matter. It's your journey. So own it, love it, rock it, just soak it in. It is your journey. And you are doing amazing things. So if nothing else, the one thing, Allie and I have done a lot of really dumb things. We've really made a lot of mistakes. However, we have done one thing right for sure. And that is we haven't given up. We have had to talk each other off the ledge a couple times, but we have not given up. We've shown up every day and done our best. And so if you take nothing else from this call, we hope that you take away the courage and the determination to not give up, to show up every day and to own your story. And if the things that will help you do that are hopefully the 4 things that we've shared with you today about defining your success, personal development with a purpose, leading and not managing, and don't create the wheel. So with that, hopefully you guys will avoid a lot of pitfalls or make your way out of them a lot faster than we have. And we are so thankful for all of you, those that we have met at Summit already and so excited to see again, and those that we haven't, and we so look forward to seeing all of you. We totally admire you. We have watched your journeys. We've learned from you, and really just thank you for being you and not giving up. So with that, Tyler, it's yours.
Okay. All right. Thank you, you two. That was awesome call. I'm even sitting here taking notes because there's a lot of good information in there. And one of the things that I think this is a testament to is the power of success partners, right? If you've got somebody that you can lean on and talk to and bounce ideas off of, and it really does help to have somebody out there. So utilize Team Inspire, use, post on there, ask if anybody needs a success partner or anything like that, but use the resources that you have available. This call was recorded, so I'm going to post it on Team Inspire. So if you have coaches that were not able to listen, I'd strongly encourage you to have them listen to this recording. And even yourselves can listen to it again because there's a lot of great information. I just want to re-emphasize a couple things from the call because I think it was so important. Tiffany and I have been doing this for years, and we've gone to several summits, we've gone to several leadership retreats, we've gone on Super Saturdays, we've gone almost everything that Beachbody offers, we've gone to multiple of them. And the thing that consistently comes back from all successful coaches and everybody that is presenting or has anything to say is that they did personal development to get where they were. And not just personal development, but like Lacey and Allie said, is they did it with a purpose. So there's action behind it. Right? So you can listen to as many audiobooks as you want as you're doing the dishes and then turn it off and never change anything, right? There has to be some sort of action behind it, not just the act of listening, but the actual act of doing something because of what you're listening to and learning. So personal development is one of the things that the top coaches all talk about. And the 3 vital behaviors are the 3 vital behaviors because of what all the successful coaches put in their recommendations for. Okay, Beachbody wanted to come up with a certain type of list of actions and behaviors that would lead people to be successful, and that is what they came up with after polling and listening to all these wonderfully successful coaches. It all boiled down to those 3 things. So a lot of people, including myself, try to find ways around that, right? Because you don't want to sit down and do those 3 vital behaviors, because they can be a little, intimidating for people that don't want to invite, or, you don't want to do your personal development because it's kind of a waste of time. So, but you know what? The people that really do those things are successful. So you can try to find your way around it. You can think that you know a better way and not do those things and do it your own way. But if you want to be successful, then do those 3 vital behaviors. And then one of the things that I liked that I heard was the analogy to the winds, right? You can change your sail. And that reminded me of Jim Rohn. One of the things that he talked about is the winds of life, right? They're going to blow on everybody, no matter what. You, me, your neighbor, your parents, family, friends. The winds of life are going to blow. And you can choose to just kind of go with the current and go with the direction that it's taking you, and you'll end up downstream with everybody else that's going down the current. Or you can choose to set your sails and take you in the direction that you want to go. And that's what personal development is. That's what the 3 vital behaviors are. They're actions. They're things that you can actually physically do to change your life and make it better. And so those are just a few of the things. I don't want to take up too much time, but a few of the things that I really liked. You have to be a leader. You have to inspire, and you have to change yourself if you want to become better, right? Nothing's going to change unless you change. That's one of Jim Rohn's famous quotes. But all right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Allie, Lacey. You guys did a wonderful job. And like I said, I'll have this posted. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on there, and we can answer them. And look forward to seeing everybody at Summit.